Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but the moment I truly understood this sentence, at 25 years old, it quietly but profoundly altered the entire course of my life. For years, like many people, I believed that the more hours I worked, the more successful I would become. That if I stayed late, met deadlines, showed up early, and did everything by the book, success would eventually knock on my door. And to some degree, that mindset works. If you work hard, you can make a living. But making a living and building a life are not the same thing. There is a world of difference between surviving and becoming. And the secret no one tells you early enough is this: success isn't something you chase, it's something you attract. And you attract it by becoming someone worthy of it. This isn't some vague motivational catchphrase. It's a deep, quiet truth. And once you internalize it, your path forward begins to change. From that realization, I started a new kind of journey. It wasn't about taking on more projects or climbing the corporate ladder. It was about something deeper, becoming someone who naturally draws opportunity, connection, and abundance simply by who they are. Let me tell you a story that captures this shift beautifully. The watchmaker and the overhaul within. In a small, quiet town nestled in the mountains, there lived an old watchmaker named Elias. He had spent 4 decades mastering his craft. He repaired antique timepieces with a patience that few could match. His hands were steady, his reputation solid. He worked from before the sun rose until long after the streets fell silent. He believed in hard work, in consistency, in doing what you're supposed to do. But something never quite clicked. His store was almost always empty. He barely made ends meet. And while he never said it out loud, there was a quiet ache in his chest. Why does success feel so far away after all these years? Then one day, a young man named Leo opened another watch shop down the street. Same tools, same trade. And yet, within a few months, Leo's shop was alive with visitors. Customers laughed. Stories were exchanged. People left with more than just working watches. They left with an experience. Elias watched from his window with a mix of confusion and doubt. Haven't I earned success? Haven't I put in the time? He began to blame the economy, technology, the short attention span of the younger generation. But one night, long after closing, Elias noticed something different. As he passed the dusty mirror in his workshop, he paused. He looked at his own reflection for longer than usual. What he saw wasn't just age, it was stagnation. It was a man who had worked hard, yes, but who had stopped growing. That night, Elias wrote a sentence in his old journal: "I have worked on my craft, but I have never worked on myself." It wasn't immediate, but slowly something changed. People returned, not just for the watches, but for the wisdom, for the way Elias spoke about time, about memory, about what really matters. His income improved, his confidence deepened, but more than anything, his life transformed. What Elias experienced is something we all face. Most of us work tirelessly on the external parts of life, our job, our income, our routines. But we neglect the internal, our mindset, character, emotional intelligence, self-worth. And yet the truth remains. You can work hard on your job and make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can build a fortune, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. So what does it mean to work on yourself? It means reading not just for information, but for transformation. It means surrounding yourself with people who challenge your patterns. It means confronting your own resistance, procrastination, and fear. It means realizing the hardest person you will ever manage is you. You hesitate when you should be bold. You shrink when you should stand tall. You choose comfort when growth is just a little further beyond the discomfort. And no, this isn't about becoming someone else. It's about unbecoming everything that's not really you. When you develop yourself, the impact multiplies. Improve your communication, and your relationships change. Sharpen your focus, and your productivity doubles. Deepen your self-awareness, and your decisions align more closely with your values. In short, When you upgrade, your life upgrades. I've seen people double or triple their income not because they found new jobs, but because they became more valuable in the roles they were already in. I've seen introverts become magnetic leaders, not by pretending to be extroverts, but by owning their quiet confidence. I've seen people attract love, opportunity, abundance, not by chasing them, but by becoming people who naturally hold space for those things. One of my mentors once said, "There are only about 11 or 12 truly awful people in the world, but they move around a lot, so sooner or later, you'll meet one." The real challenge, though, isn't working with difficult people. It's working with the most stubborn, fearful, inconsistent person you know, yourself. But here's the good news. Unlike the market, your mindset is in your control. Unlike your boss, your self-discipline doesn't need approval. Unlike your past, your future is malleable, if you're willing to evolve. So today, if you feel stuck, not seen, not progressing, ask yourself, am I only working on my job? Or am I working on the one thing that will determine everything else? Me. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. It will not only change your income, it will change your identity. And once your identity shifts, the rest of your life begins to follow. Because the truth is simple. You can have more than what you currently have, because you can become more than who you currently are.